Hello, welcome to New Ways to Evolve, Change, and Grow. My name is Brian Hardin, and today's guest is Colette Streicher. She's a licensed psychotherapist and the creator of this amazing new program called the MAP Coaching Institute, or Manifesting All Possibilities. It's a system that'll help you make breakthroughs in your life in a matter of just minutes. So welcome to the show, Colette.
Thank you so much, Brian. It's an honor and it's going to be super fun. I know that.
Fantastic. So what I usually ask everybody for the first question is if you have any tips and tricks and tools for all of us to change our frequency and raise our frequency to a higher level of happiness and success and growth in our lives. Is there anything that you have as advice for us?
Yes, I do have one, very simple one. It's all about focusing, okay? Constantly focusing in the right direction, in the direction you want to feel. So if you want to feel good and something happens in your life and you don't, I want you to do the 180, okay? So you look at one wall, literally, and you have about 17 seconds to say what you don't want. Oh, this thing didn't work, blah, 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 blah. Then you literally turn around physically and look at the opposite wall. And now you begin to talk about, for 5 minutes, about everything you want. It's beautiful out there. I love this. I can do that. And I would like this and that. And this completely shifts your focus. Literally, even just the physical turnaround will do that. So in those times, I think it's important to have little tips like that.
Is that because you assume that one is the past and then one is the future? And when you look towards the future, then you have the new vision. Is that part of it?
In some way, but it's kind of literally shifts your brain around and you're looking at something else. Just like turning around gives you another viewpoint. It's about another viewpoint. And now you have a fresh viewpoint and you can create. It's like a canvas. And you're just creative about what do you want instead. But you stay on it as long as you can, 3, 4, 5 minutes, or whatever you can, until you feel secure in your frequency and you feel good again. And that's a very easy thing you can do anywhere, especially in your office.
So that's dealing with your desires, your wants, your needs.
Yes.
Is there a clear way with those desires and wants and needs to not get messy with it, to keep it focused? Is that very important?
Oh, yes. You want to only draw whatever feels good, but every time you think or say something, check inside. Does it feel good or is it a need? No, it's not a need. It has to feel good. So it's like you look for something that feels good. And that's really the only thing. But the fact that you have turned around, you have a different viewpoint and your brain is ready for something fresh. So here we go. You have an opportunity.
Before we started this, you and I spoke just a tiny bit about Esther Hicks and the Abraham Hicks or Esther Hicks. And I've been a fan of hers too, because what she says is very simple. She just says that you have to feel the feeling right now that you desire or that you want. And so your program builds on that and actually gives the tools for then turning that into breaking the patterns, which is huge, because she opens the door and you take everybody through it. Is that how you feel?
Yes, exactly. Actually, that has been my motivation, because I had clients for like 15 years. They had listened to Esther Hicks almost every day, but still nothing was changing. And, you know, as a psychotherapist and then in the future, I was, later on, I was doing coaching. I realized there has to be something else. I had studied for 35 years, every kind of techniques, the energy psychology, all of that. But it was still not enough, because we have so many things in our minds, you know, and programs and old patterns and all of that, that I was looking for something faster, easier, more gentle. And when I found it with MAP, which means MAP, means make anything possible. I called it that way because I was influenced by Esther Hicks. When you master your mind, you can make anything possible. And I was always looking for those tools that would help my clients actually make anything possible, create their lives and their dreams.
So one thing that she says that I love is when you listen to your feelings, the answer is either a hell yes or a hell no. Like there's no maybe so. If there's a maybe so, it's no. And so you can feel whether the answer is right or not, whether the relationship or what your dreams and desires and so on have to be that yes, solid yes. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct. Yes. And that's why this exercise of the 180 allows you to leave behind. It's literally metaphorical. You leave behind and you completely create fresh and new without bringing the old with you. Just break through and feel what it feels like to go and to be who you want to be. And that's the most important, like you said, is to feel it and feel so good that you are tuned into that frequency and you are now attracting things in your world that are similar in energy than what you're feeling.
I've heard it said very simply. In fact, I've said this a few times myself, which is if you desire, the Ferrari, a car, or you desire the relationship or the job or whatever you desire, ask yourself what's inside of that desire. Why do you want that? Well, I want that for the power or the ego. That's a lot of things. And then why do you want that? Well, because then it'll make a lot of people around me, come. Okay, then why do you want that? And eventually, it's because it'll make me feel good.
Yes.
And at some point, there's a level of service in there too. Usually, that you want to create a community. You want joy and you want community hidden inside at the bottom of the list. And so within all that, having joy and having the community is what the goal is, and that's the feeling you have. And so most people, they don't know why they desire something, but at the root of it is that joy and so on. And you can feel that feeling now. You can make that choice now, and that's part of what your program does. I'm actually in the teacher training with you. And learning that once again, you can choose to feel the feeling now.
Absolutely.
And when you choose to feel that feeling now of joy, connectedness, of owning the Ferrari, then suddenly you have this different energy. You stand straighter, you breathe different, you talk different, and suddenly you attract everything it is to support getting the Ferrari, getting the job, getting the relationship. With this confidence and so on, and you're like a magnet. It comes in much easier because you change the feeling inside of you. A lot of times the blocks are the feelings that you have of self-doubt and fear. So what you do is remove those. Is that correct?
Yes, and the MAP method in itself has several steps. And the first step is to know what you truly, truly, truly desire. And I insist on that because many people are thinking, oh, I want the Ferrari. Okay. But actually, what is it that you truly, truly, truly desire? And the more you say truly, the more you go down into your heart and the more you connect. I noticed, I had to do that. It's like to go truly. Okay, truly, truly desire. What I truly desire is joy and fun and freedom and the power to create my world. And so you end up having the essence of what you truly, truly desire. And I believe this is the first step. Wherever you want to go, you need to know where you want to go. But it doesn't have to be specific in the physical world, because many people say, oh, I don't know what I want. Well, that's okay, because you don't have to know what exactly you want in the physical world. But what you absolutely know, for sure, is how do you want to feel? What do you truly, 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 truly desire to experience in your life? And at the end, it's joy, it's fun, it's freedom, it's is love, it's connection and community, and it's all those feelings of being high in your connection with source, with the energy of infinite intelligence.
And as soon as you unravel some of that and start bringing joy to yourself, you attract even more. And then the floodgates open. And quite often I find that thing you desire, when you get the feeling that thing brings, new opportunities show up beyond your wildest original dream. Sometimes you go much farther and bigger. So being attached to only that dream isn't important. Opening up to the possibilities of much greater can take you much farther. Is that correct?
Yes, and that's why I was talking about this desire, the essence, because once you tune into the essence, and one of my secret and tip is actually to narrow down my dream to the essence of what I want. And when I began and manifested actually this new method in the field of psychology, this breakthrough that we are going to talk about, called MAP, and the use of the superconscious mind to really clear all those negative things. But one I was looking for was unlimitedness. I narrowed down. I was stuck in my office one-on-one. I was stuck in many different ways. And when I narrowed down, what is it that I truly, truly, truly desire, was feeling unlimited. And so I tuned my brain to unlimitedness, and boom, I create a method that is unlimited, and its name is Unlimited to make anything possible. So yes, absolutely.
So I'm glad you mentioned this, the superconscious, because most people refer to that as the subconscious. And in my studying, I never connected with subconscious either. And I'm so glad that you've converted the subconscious into what you call the superconscious, because that's more connected to me. In my feeling, that's more connected to the soul, to your, because I connect with my body, my mind, and then my spirit or my soul. And so when I listen to my connection with God or whatever, that's my superconscious. That's the being that's part of me that isn't physical or mental. It's the spiritual component of me. And when I connect to that, that's where the true wisdom and answers come from. Could you explain the superconscious and how you came upon that?
Yeah, absolutely. So just to have the big picture of the method, the first, as we said before, I'm just reviewing so that perhaps people can follow. The first is to know where you want to go. But the second, you have blocks, okay? You have belief systems, you have things like that. And what you want is to be able to neutralize those negative memories that do not lead you where you want to go as fast as you can, And so it has been a search and a quest for me for 35 years. And I studied, like I said, absolutely everything I could find for 35 years. And when I discovered that a part of the mind can actually find and heal and neutralize another part of the mind, and we could teach that part how to do so, this was genius. So what I realized is that we have the conscious mind, okay, and we all know what it is. The unconscious are all the programs, the beliefs, the memories we have accumulated since we are just even conceived. Some people out there call it unconscious, some call it subconscious, etc. So it's a mixture of language, but most of it, these are programs. These are things that you do on automatic. Your brain literally runs it on automatic, and it runs your life through that because it's 95% of everything you think. It's on automatic. But there is another part that we had forgotten, which I call the superconscious mind. And the superconscious is outside of it. It's like the observer, the soul part, the part that knows everything, remembers everything, but has never been hurt, so that it can heal things. It can find memories and neutralize them on instruction, literally. And this is the magic and the power of the superconscious method that I developed.
So I had a near-death experience when I was 16 years old where I died, and I actually went to what most people would consider heaven. And so when I came back, I came with a lot of really interesting information. And I'm very, very, very clear that I am a spirit, and we are all spirits that are that superconscious that are residing in the body and happen to have a mind too. And so I relate to body, mind, spirit very clearly. And to me, that super conscious is my spirit. And so when I listen to that, it's the truth. There's that is the true feeling. And so I connect very clearly to what information that spirit has and what my body speaks. My mind is the one that's the liar. My body listens to my spirit. And so to me, there's a true connection to that. When we listen to our superconscious, like you said, our body will respond to that. Our body feels the feelings, just like you feel hot and cold, it feels the feelings. And so the truth is in your body. Your body says, yes, yum, or yuck. Right away, your body tells you the truth. Now, your mind can convince you otherwise, and the mind that's the trickster. That's like a monkey, and it's always there making a mess of things. Yeah. For me, it's always in judgment, comparing the past and the future all the time, and it's the trickster for me. So when we mute the mind a little bit and we pull that to the side and we listen to spirit, that's super conscious, our body responds immediately, our being responds clearly, and then the mind can readjust. And that's what you're doing is readjusting the mind so that it's not the controller anymore, instead gets remapped.
Yes.
New information comes to the mind, so then it's not the leader anymore. Your heart is the leader, I believe. In this, because I had a session yesterday with one of your instructors, Dee, I believe is her name. She was fantastic. I dare to say, in some ways, she actually, really, really surprised me. She took me places that I wasn't expecting. It was fantastic, and challenged me. And so that's part of why I'm so excited about this, because it really does work for people. And it broke through layers of my onion that I had built up over years and peeled that onion. So now I'm much more exposed and much more ready to respond, like lighter. And so I feel like I can respond, and I feel like I'm a teenager again in some ways. Like I don't have that baggage I'm carrying around. And that's really the process. Isn't that correct? The baggage?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Step 2 is release the baggage so you can be your authentic self. You can find who you truly, truly are, which is this unlimited being.
So with that, we have to identify our intention and our purpose and what our desire is. Yes. But then we actually talk to the superconscious, and we say, can you help me? Is that correct? And
yes, in the general manner, this is correct. With a coach or, a coach that would do that so that you can relax, tune into whatever is blocking you. Then the coach gives you an instruction to your mind. The mind readjusts itself within minutes. And literally your brain rewires itself within minutes. And then you give another feedback and you say, oh, I'm more relaxed. I might still have a little bit. Okay, so your coach gives another instruction and the brain goes into self-healing. And up to the moment, like you said, where you're completely free of a complete pattern and you have released the baggage. And now it's time to the third step of the MAP method. It's good to release. And I notice it's so important. It took me years of studying to get to know how to release the most gently, effectively, and quickly than anything out there. without having to tap or to talk or to explain or to remember anything. I mean, it's just the simplest thing on the planet to do, the map session. But after that, what you want is to create new neural pathways and become the new you. And that's about turning into who do you want to be and creating new neural pathways, practicing it with maximum emotion and intensity so that your brain literally creates new neural pathways. And you literally become your preferred self, the self that really is authentic and supports your dream. Yes.
So one thing I found for me is I was holding my breath all my life. I was, whenever I was thinking or in fear or extremely excited even, I would hold my breath and it would lead me to stutter. And I would lock up. And so my brain didn't work as well because I'm holding my breath, didn't get oxygen. And so that was part of my pattern. Like yesterday when I was in my session, as soon as I released some of the heavy thoughts and emotions that go with that, my breathing changed. And my clarity came back. And my fear went away. The anxiety went away. And that was the habit, the anxiety, the fear that went with it. And that locked in my brain. And as soon as I unlocked the brain, it unlocked my body, it unlocked my breathing, changed my confidence, changed everything, and gave me clarity that I no longer need those baggage to carry around, that I'm done with that. And it was like breaking karma, breaking the pattern that I was done with it. Does any of this tie to karma? Is the word karma, because they talk about that in a lot of disciplines, that there's these patterns that we go through where we keep relearning the same lesson. Because I found that just in the last 2 months of working with you, that I've been able to break through some of those patterns that I was hanging on to. Is there anything with that?
There is a lot of names that could be used, but it's mainly memories that are coming from this timeline or another timeline from your entire unlimited eternal being. You might have accumulated a few of those beliefs and memories that actually are still available today, that you might still be running, all those unconscious programs. And so when you release that, then it's over, and you can call it this or that, but at least you're free. You're free.
And you've had great success with helping people break through some amazing things like fear of heights,
yes.
Fear of success, obviously, creating blockages in their relationships and so on, and unlocking some things. Do you have any stories that even surprised you, that were so rapid that you thought might have taken weeks? Instead, it took minutes. Did you have any moments like that were fantastic?
Oh man, this is more or less a daily situation for the last 6 years. But one of it is I treated someone, the first session is usually we do a phobia or a fear, just something clear, just to train the brain to know how to respond to the instructions. And so this person gave me a fear of height. So I gave one instruction, and after 3 or 4 minutes, he says, "Oh, it's done." I say, "Oh, okay, good, great. So let's move on. And what are you really coming for? What is the thing you want to work on?" So we worked on that. And months later, I get a phone call, and it's from him. It says, "Colette, it worked." I say, "It worked what?" "It worked. I am in Europe at the top of a mountain in a castle. I'm looking down the valley. It worked. I don't have any fear of heights anymore." I say, "Oh," and I had to remember it was only 5 minutes, 6 months ago. It's like, "Oh yes, we treated that. Yes, I know, it worked. Thank you." But a longer one story that lately is really exciting me. I had this woman that was in my neighborhood. And she was one of the first to actually be a guinea pig for me for maps. When I developed that after my own 35 years of studying, the breakthrough, understanding this, and beginning to study and test out this method that I was developing. And so it's a single mom, 5 children. She arrives to me, and after treating her because she was in a traumatic relationship and needed to divorce and all of that, so she became single mom. And so she cleared all of that. Each time one session, and she only comes 3 months later when there is something going on, And finally she says, I want to go back to school. I have half of my engineering school as an electrical engineer, and I would like to go back. And actually, she wanted to go back to prove that MAP works. She said, I want to go back, but I would like to be a neuroscientist and make sure that I do QEEG for MAP. And so I ended up telling her, finish your electrical engineering school, nourish your kids, and then you can always do a PhD in neuroscience. So she goes into that school, and once in a while, she has had one obstacle after the other. Not knowing how she would pay for the school, not knowing how she would pay for the home anymore. I mean, one obstacle. Every time she came, only one time, boom, there was enough to get her to the next level, And that has been about 5 or 6 years. And she just graduated today with electrical engineering, and yesterday, literally, and she's been hired by NASA. She is now officially a rocket scientist.
Oh my God. That's
she
fantastic.
Will work with the astronauts in the international station and all of that. It's just such a journey. I've been with her all this journey, but each time MAP was the miracle. And I'm very happy for her, very proud of her.
So you initially came upon this by healing yourself, is that correct?
Well, not really, actually. I've been healing myself for I've done my inner work a lot since I was 9 and 12. And at 9 years old, I decided to be happy. And because obviously my mom was the absolute opposite of that. And I found her at one day. I thought she was fast. And so I was very, very sad. And she ended up living. But my decision that day was, I will be happy. I will have a happy family. And I will help others who actually want to be happy. And I began to study when I was a kid, like 12 years old. I was reading Freud and Adler and doing my own psychotherapy and all of that. So it has been a lifelong journey, going from energy work, body work, psychology, spirituality, quantum physics, all my life. However, 6 years ago, I had this young woman that came from France because she had heard of my ability. I was already a psychotherapist with all those, EFT, NLP, MDR, blah, blah, blah. So I had done a lot. And she trusted me. So the family sent me her teenager who was supposed to just be depressed and have phobia. Say, okay, I can do that. And when she arrives, I realize, oh my gosh, it's not the case. She has a bipolar disorder. And I say, I cannot talk about it, that nothing will work. I kind of panicked. I had this young teenager with me. So I began to do research in psychiatry and alternative psychology. And I remembered actually a work that I had heard about before and read about. It was Dr. Flint, who was a psychologist and worked with personality disorders. So I plunged into his work. I called him. He became my mentor. And but I didn't have time to do all of that while she was here, so she had to go back. But she was the trigger that Dr. Flynn gave me the idea that the mind can actually heal itself. And that was like the ha-ha moment. And I realized that if I took that idea and then took everything I knew for 35 years and systemized it and created a protocol to literally systematically address the subconscious mind, the unconscious programs, we would have the solution on this planet. And that's what I did the last 6 years. We did studies, we did electroencephalogram with my friend Michelle that I was talking to you about, the new rocket scientist. And we did a lot of things. And right here now, today, we're ready to spread it on the planet and to help literally millions of people get out of their blocks.
And what it really does is it helps people unlearn those patterns that they set in, that like unwanted memories, traumas, beliefs, negative emotions, and it does it within minutes, right?
Yes.
And that's what's so exciting for me, because ladies and gentlemen, it really works. Yesterday I had my second session, and it was a breakthrough. It was, and sometimes the breakthroughs are you breaking down the old pattern, break down the wall to create the whole new, and there's no wall there. You remove the wall. So all those things you're attached to suddenly go away, and suddenly you're in a whole new space. So that's the exciting part, is you get to actually write the next chapter of your life, which is joy and happiness and success from a fresh new place. Is that correct?
Oh, that's correct. And I could use perhaps to share a little bit of the science, because I did a lot of research to understand. It's like electricity, you use it, but you don't understand how it works. So I was thinking, okay, what's happening in the brain? And I learned about what was happening and what we were able to in the brain when we create a long-term memory, if you want. The synapses locks, and they lock together and they consolidate, it's called. And I learned that in year 2000, this neuroscientist had found out that when you remember a memory and there are certain conditions that MAP actually uses and follows, those actually neural pathways open up. The synapses, there is a gap for a few moments, and that gap is called the window of reconsolidation. And it's a moment where you can actually rewire with something neutral and positive, so that the old is definitely done. It's gone, literally. And we rewire long-term memories. So long-term memories that we thought were unchangeable, now we can relearn using the protocol that the MAP process uses to literally neutralize a memory forever.
Would you be okay with explaining at least a little taste of what those 3 steps for reconsolidation is? Just, are you allowed to do that? Or just give them a little taste of it?
Yes, that's true. So there is, one of it is the mismatch. You need to mismatch. The first one is you need to fire the neurons, of course. You need to fire, so bring up through the association process in the brain, bring up as many energy in the neural networks to fire those networks and to fire those neurons. The second one, you need to create a mismatch. And that's where MAP is powerful. Because what we do is that the brain will actually have like an error sensor, and it's checking out if the memory is still valid. So what we're creating in MAP is a mismatch by asking 2 things at the same time. The brain we ask the client to remember, or at least bring up some discomfort, some stress in the brain, while we ask the client actually to be relaxed and observant, like in meditation. So you have 2 parts of the brain conflicted. You have the amygdala saying, I'm supposed to be stressed here. And then you have the prefrontal cortex saying, I'm supposed to observe and be relaxed. And that creates a mismatch in the brain. And the brain says, oh, there might be an error. Let's reconsolidate. This memory is not true. There is no pain, there is no danger of any kind. Let's rewire with something more neutral. So these are one of the few steps in the reconsolidation process.
And is part of that they don't even need to know all the details? Like their conscious brain doesn't even need to know what caused all these responses, fear of heights or whatever it is, whatever their issues are. They don't need to identify that. You're actually going beyond that to the higher levels and addressing that and actually cleaning up the mess. Without you don't need to know the details. They don't need to know the details. They just need to know the symptoms, and then you address. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. The symptom is kind of the entrance door for the subconscious mind. It's like, okay, you have a symptom. You have something that doesn't feel good. You have an event that you remember is stressing you. And so it's kind of an entrance door to the whole series of programs behind it, all the memories, all the things that ever happened, all the beliefs you have, all of that. And the coach gives an instruction to the brain to actually go in there and find everything that is connected, that is resonating with this entrance door. So we are cleaning up like a tremendous amount of memories and neutralizing those without having to remember any of it. And most of it you don't remember anyway. Because before 7 years old, when you have all those programs that are created, you don't remember what happened, certainly not in the womb of your mom, but certainly not even when you were 1 or 2 years old. And these are the times where you had those programs that were set. You made those decisions about life, about you, about how's the world. And now you need to redecide. Those decisions were made when you were a child. So the superconscious goes into your unconscious mind, finds out those memories, those moments of decisions that do not serve you anymore, and neutralize those memories like we were talking about, and you end up being changed and transformed for the rest of your life.
And ultimately, it rewires the brain. It creates new neural pathways, like physically makes new pathways that suddenly, instead of it always doing it actually creates a whole new path for the energy to go that is joy, success, happiness, confidence, fearlessness, and connectedness. Is that correct?
Well, I think what I have understood now, it's a two-step process. You first want to kind of close the doors and, break the bridges to the old pathways using MAP and the reconsolidation process in the brain. So you neutralize those pathways. But it's like cleaning a fridge if you want. It doesn't mean that you have cleaned the fridge, but it doesn't mean that it's full of positive, good things in it. So now the step two, the second step of this is to actually wire your brain now, actually actively wire it to create a new neural pathways. And that's what we call the magnetization. So the 3 steps of the MAP process: first, you want to know where you want to go. We talked about that. Second, you want to map it, like you want to remap your mind and neutralize whatever is not serving you. And third, you want to magnetize your brain with new neural pathways so that your brain is a magnet to new thoughts, new emotions, new beliefs. And that's the new you, that you really is the one that is authentic and happy and realizing your dreams, able to realize your dreams.
And what I'm excited about is this really can happen in one little session. You can make huge breakthroughs. Like for me, yesterday was a huge breakthrough. I had powerful breakthroughs that I felt like I was a box of Christmas lights, and all my thoughts and ideas and problems were all raveled in one big ball, and I needed to straighten them all out so that they could function better, and that they were all tied together. And so I feel like all those knots came apart, and now I have levels of clarity for my future and for being functional. I breathe different. I'm sitting different. I'm thinking different. I've got clarity that I didn't have. It's like the clouds parted, and I know very well a lot of people during this odd time that we're in right now, this quarantine and so on. They're breaking down, and the breakdown leads sometimes to a breakthrough if you let it. And the breakthrough can be rough. It can be a little hard. And so I feel like I had some big breakthroughs yesterday with unraveling that mess, so that I'm going to come from another new place of joy, of confidence, of with a different feeling of success and clarity and service to the world. And do you find a lot of your clients have the same thing? They once they remove some of these, they're much more in service and much more functional. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, it's, and you're right, the step 2 of neutralizing with the superconscious is so powerful. It's so transformational that, like I said, my friend Michelle each time had a breakthrough and was able to keep going and finally succeed in her journey and her dream. So yes, it can be absolutely fabulously clarifying with new insight because your brain has opened up. There is like you are using your whole brain now instead of just some parts of the brain, especially the ones connected to negative emotions, the limbic brain, all of that. Now you have access to your frontal cortex, to viewpoints that are different, to the connection with your higher self. It's magical, and it can be absolutely incredibly opening, uplifting and super positive. And also that's why the third step is very complementary. Now that you feel good, you see, Brian, now that you feel good, don't you want to now think about your dream and really wire your brain with it and really enjoy it every day intensively? And it doesn't matter if it's there or not because it feels so good anyway. And now you are going to have a brain even more ready, pre-paved for the genius idea that are going to drop into your mind. So it's really a cocktail. It works together so well.
I find it's the same amount of energy to live in fear and stress and anxiety that it is to be in joy. That you can be in joy and with effortlessness, and be in. To change that, it's like your imagination. What you imagine, if used in the wrong direction, that is fear. You can use your imagination in the wrong direction and just live in fear and imagine all the bad things. And particularly now, if you turn on the news, there's lots of bad fear out there. And you can use that same imagination to imagine all the great things, all the positive things. So what you dream can come true, or what you fear can come true. It's the same. It's your choice. And as soon as you remove these blockages that you have, these patterns that you unlock, suddenly you are optimistic. You are joyous. And you're sort of like your view of the world is, instead of being below the water, you're suddenly above the water. And once you're above the water, then you can start to fly. You can start to let go of all the crap you're carrying around with you and move at much, much higher speeds. And so that's my analogy. It's kind of funny.
No, I like it. It's really, I like it actually, very much like that. It's like, yes, you're underwater, suddenly you are above water, and then the magnetization, the third step is about, let's fly, let's fly. Where do you want to go? How does it feel? And isn't it exciting and wonderful? So, and that's how I have manifested every single thing after manifesting first the MAP method itself. I have manifested all the success and all the possibilities with this international business now, my coaching institute, that is international. We're touching, from Singapore to Germany to everywhere in the world. And it's so much fun. But it came from me. I do that every day. Every day I do those 3 steps. What do I want today? What do I want in a year from now? What do I desire? How does it feel? Oh, it would feel like that. Good. But is there a block? Okay, then I get a map session. I give myself, of course, at this point, just a few commands, instructions, and all right, I'm good. So now what do I want? Let's magnetize. Let's tune into it. And within 2 weeks, usually there is a complete breakthrough in my business. So I am now even a little careful of how much I do that because it goes so fast, the breakthroughs in my world.
And you wrote an incredible book called Abundance on Demand. And that is not only abundance with money, but abundance with all levels of your life. I mean, see, abundance isn't limited only to the physical. No. It's also the mental stuff and the spiritual stuff, meaning that and abundance isn't that you're just got lots, it's that you also have lots to give and share. It's not that I'm hoarding things. It's that I have lots of energy and power and joy and ideas. And so abundance for me isn't just, I want a big house. It's I want to be in service to the world. So this is applicable to everybody on the planet. If you want to raise a great family, if you want to create a huge business that serves the world, this is the process. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yes, and you want to be in flow. It's like abundance is about being in the middle of this river and you're getting it and you're giving it. You know, it's like you're moving the flow. You're in the flow. You're not holding and, creating those barriers. You want to be in the flow. And that's what abundance is, knowing that there is a never-ending flow of possibilities, of ideas, of solutions. Let's be real. Anything you want to create comes from a thought. You have to have a thought first. So actually, the only thing we actually all want and desire is a genius thought. It's an idea that is like, oh my gosh, it's the solution of what I was asking for. And so anything you can create, relationship, beautiful businesses, music, anything comes from a thought first. And so when your brain is now ready and open and you can download literally those new thoughts, now there's no limit to what you can do. Now you're in abundance, because really the abundance is an abundance of thoughts that are positive, that are geniuses, that are connected to your true higher self and infinite intelligence. And then you have abundance.
I have a connection point on all that I'd love to share, which is, I spoke about the spirit. I talked about the mind, and I talk about the body, mind, spirit. Well, most people's version of manifestation only comes from you think it. And where I was so excited about this process is you took it to the real next level that needed to happen, because thinking a thought and it only starts the magnetization process of creating that affluence and abundance and so on with manifestation. But once you feel the feeling, you're thinking, you're feeling, then you change your beliefs, because your body feels, your mind thinks. So your mind thinks, the body feels the feeling, and then your spirit is the belief mechanism. And that's that super consciousness for me, and that you're talking to. And so my beliefs change because my body changed, because my mind changed. So what do you want thinking wise? Your body starts feeling the feeling, and then the subconscious, super conscious, or in my words, spirit, changes my belief. And that works in a like a triangle for me. Like it works in both ways. It spins everything, and it feeds into itself. Your beliefs then change your thoughts, change your body, and they keep going around and around. So it actually accelerates. It's like a snowball. So as soon as you start unwinding your beliefs and your feelings, and your thoughts all accelerate too. And so it's a snowball process, and the trick is to get the snowball moving.
Yes, in the positive direction, in a high vibration direction. Yes, because we all have snowballs, but we want to be going into the positive, and then it's so big that it doesn't stop, and you are in the flow zone. So yes, and then there is action that come, but the actions are inspired. So it's not, yes, you want to think, you want to feel, your beliefs begin to change because you practice those thoughts and those feelings. You end up anchoring those beliefs inside of you and believe it more and more. And when you believe it and know it, the universe, will come to you, and it will come to you, but it will come to you through a thought. Very often it's a thought. It's like, do something, genius idea, download a music, download this. And then, you get what you truly want. But there is some action to take, but those actions are so much fun. When you're in alignment, when the snowball is working for you, it's that you get actions to take that just resonate with you. They feel so good. And so it's not work anymore. It's not hard work. It's just joy of, living in this physical world.
So I want everyone listening to this to actually go to your website and see for themselves. And you offer a free experience just to get involved. That you entice people to come in and watch a few videos and get the basic parts of this. What is it? What is the website we should send everybody to?
So the website is MAP Coaching Institute, MAP Coaching Institute.com. Over there, you can sign up for a free training. That's the free training. It's about 30 minutes. And then you will have access to an experience. And the experience is, at this point, it's a 2-hour workshop with me, in a group, and you're going to experience MAP. Now, we are giving it away for $7 right now. So it's really given away for a 2-hour workshop with me. But it allows people to step and decide that they actually want to come. And it's very, very useful. And it's fabulous. So once you have the experience, then you can decide what is your next step.
It's been life-changing for me. It's really opened up some principles that I learned about, but I didn't have the tool to actually, I knew the ideas, but I didn't have the tool to really unlock them. And it helps to be in collaboration with having a coach, having someone to guide you through so that they can show you the way. Like doing every self-help works a lot quicker when you have a coach.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So yes, at the Institute, we offer the support of our coaches and all the experience we have. And we have created a program where it's like the YMCA for the brain, to rewire your brain. There are activities every day. There is a tribe, and there is coaches that help you. It's like trainers for your brain and for your mind and heart. And they are all heart-centered, very wonderful people. And yes, it's about changing humanity, raising our vibration right now to the top. I think we can shift this planet with the right tools.
And that's ultimately what your goal in life is to help consciousness evolve, or to help the individual. If I want to save the world or change the world, I have to change myself. And then, you don't do that by being a dysfunctional person. You've got to get solid here, and then you can help others. And so this is to help the individual so that you can inspire positive change in the world. And, Yeah.
Absolutely. It all begins with you. You have to take care of you, clear the baggages, be free, fly, be the example, be happy, be wonderfully grounded and in your heart. And then others want the same, and you are inspiring others. And also you're doing a lot just by living here on this planet with this big smile and being happy, and just being present is a lot.
That's fantastic. Well, I think this has been a fantastic interview. Did we miss anything that we needed to say? Did we cover?
I think we covered a lot, so I think we're good.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. You are welcome to invite me to interview you at any time. If you have new information for the world, please, I would love to help share it, because I truly believe that what you're doing is life-changing for me as an individual and life-changing for the world. And I'm a huge fan. And so thank you so much for your time and for beautiful words of inspiration and wisdom. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. It was really a pleasure.
All right. Well, blessings to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.